Quickly, can you just explain what is shareholding structure? Most newbies they don't even understand that. Can you just explain that, please? Thank you.
Okay, the shareholding structure of a company refers to the breakdown of ownership
Okay.
among groups of shareholders. It will tell us how much this person own in this company. What's the percentage? Is it 50%, or is it controlling interest on how many shares this person?
Hello, welcome to the Nigerian Investors Podcast, the unofficial podcast that tracks and reports on the activities of the Nigerian boss. My name is Mudi, and with my colleague Aye, we will be hosting this podcast. TNI Podcast is dedicated to stimulating a renewed enthusiasm among the general population with regard to the activities of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Ultimately, the goal of TNI is to see that many Nigerians from all walks of life, both at home and in the diasporas, become active participants on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Before we go further, we would like to place on record TNI podcast is solely for educational purposes and not a replacement for professional financial advice. Let's begin. For reference purpose, this episode was recorded on Sunday, 7th July 2025. We're releasing it about 3 weeks after. Listen and enjoy this episode. There's a lot to learn from this episode. Crypto Senko is one of its kind when it comes to technical analysts in the Nigerian stock market. We have very few of them. You will benefit a lot. Thank you and enjoy.
Welcome back to another episode of the Nigerian Investors Podcast, the show where we decode the market, break down jargons, and serve you your money gists with a sprinkle of Suya sauce. Now, today we are excited to host someone fondly known on Twitter and beyond as Crypto Senko. With a schedule that would intimidate even the most dedicated traders, Crypto Senko wears many hats. He's an investment analyst, he's a technical trader, he's a teacher, and he's a fierce advocate for better governance in Nigeria's capital markets. His typical day starts at 9 a.m., analyzing the Nigerian stock market until it closes at 2:30 p.m. Then he switches seamlessly to the US market till 9 p.m. and finally dives into the 24/7 world of crypto. On Saturdays, he takes requests from retail investors for technical analysis on Nigerian stocks, US equities, and even cryptocurrencies. Sundays are no different. He hosts insightful sessions in his Telegram community on various market topics. Now, beyond his hustle, Crypto Senko is passionate about improving transparency and liquidity in Nigeria's capital markets, often shining a light on issues like delayed director dealings, disclosures, and late financial reports. You might also know him from his popular WhatsApp and Telegram groups where he demystifies technical analysis and proves that yes, technical analysis actually works in Nigeria's market despite all the many doubters. So, we invite you to sit back, take notes, get ready to learn from someone who truly lives and breathes the market, from Lagos to Wall Street and even into blockchain. Let's welcome Crypto Senko to the podcast today.
Yeah, welcome, sir.
Oh, thank you very much for having me.
Let's go straight to the questions that we have for you today. Just a brief introduction of Crypto Senko and his unique schedule. Can you throw more light on that?
Okay, let me start by saying thank you for having me in your beautiful podcast. I'm a big fan of yours. Crypto Senko is a trader and an investor, and also obviously I have a 9 to 5. And people ask me, how do I do it? So I work for a reputable investment banking firm that has over 3 decades experience, and I have worked as an auditor before transitioning fully into finance. I graduated from the University of Benin in 2019, and I started my community 2020. I always tell people the financial market is my hobby, and I always tell people also, if anywhere there's liquidity, I'm always there to analyze it. So my journey started with my community, Senko community, with family and friends, where instead of somebody coming to you to ask for money, you want to lead them in the right way. So I started having classes, and the community grew because they saw that this was worth it. And here we are today, 2025, and we are still standing strong. So my regular day, I mix the market with my 9 to 5, covering the US market, especially cryptocurrency. I started with crypto because I saw an opportunity in 2020. I've been learning about the crypto market since 2018. Then I got into it fully 2020, and here I am today.
Thank you for that. Because I was wondering, how do you juggle all these things together? Do you ever have time to sleep on a daily basis? Your passion is compared to none. I have not seen anybody that has this kind of passion that you have, and you're doing it free of charge, which is something that, in this part of the world, people usually don't do this for free. And that's something that really got to me about you. So all we can say here is thank you so much, sir, for what you're doing. We pray you have the energy.
I think one thing that even got to me is when he said, "Wherever there's liquidity, that's where you, that's where you'll be." So I think it's a sentiment that a lot of Nigerian investors would probably agree with, right? So wherever there
Yes.
are opportunities, is always a good place to start.
Yes.
Thank you. So the community members always ask me, even my friends, they ask me, how do you do this thing? If it were to be them, they would have broken down and maybe rush them to the hospital. But at the end of the day, it's just the passion in me that make me do this for free. And I always tell people, because in Nigeria, there's this misconception that I'm not saying that it's not good to pay people for them to pass knowledge to you. I'm always a big fan of that. I want to remove that misconception in our environment, where somebody will tell you that pay me $65 or per month, that will be giving you signals for free, and you don't even know what you are buying. You are just going in to enter the person's signal. Doesn't make sense. So I brought that opportunity to people that you can do this thing and learn this thing yourself and also be profitable, and can even be independent. Because again, the goal is to have a lot of independent traders, independent investors. Yes, there are people that are not finance inclined or don't have the finance background. That is where we have channels that are rolling out, and plus your channel too, that is always passing accurate information to the people, so you can rely on this to get your data or to get your information from them before making any investment decision.
Thank you.
Right. So I'm curious though. So how did you get started learning technical analysis and investing? When did you start? What was that journey like for you?
Well, I started with experimenting with the crypto market, and I have two mentors. One is a German, and one is from the US. They never charged me. They showed me the way, and they said, if we could do this, you can also do it. I consumed free materials online, plus their own materials too. I even got a book from my mentor from Germany. So I started with those books. I learned a lot of it. I was always reading. I was always watching videos. I joined communities that were ready to, share their knowledge about how these things work. And paid off, yes, it did. But again, we don't stop learning. We continue to learn. And that's what I've been doing. And just basically learning from the best people in the field before translating it back to the uh, Nigerian market. Yes, that was where my journey started.
All right. Thank you for that. So we're going to ask you something that really drew attention to your timeline on Twitter. How many investors doubt that technical analysis is not effective in the Nigerian market because of low liquidity and participation? How do you respond to this skepticism?
Let me tell you a story. When then those days, people were only relying on their fundamental analysis skills. Okay, we value this company already. oh, is this company undervalued or overvalued? Then after crunching your numbers, looking at other factors, not just the quantitative factors, you're looking at the qualitative factors of that particular company. And then you say, okay, you make your judgment and I say, okay, can I buy this time? Now, in TA, we call it blind judgment. Why? Because you're not seeing a candlestick. You are only just seeing a line chart that a stockbroking firm will give you a report as to that day how the market traded and a line chart of something that everybody can build. You know, I have a friend, she works as a fixed income trader in Meristem then before she transitioned into Bloomberg. She told me, like, Kingsley, you're good. That was in 2023. She said, Kingsley, you're good in technical analysis. You do this for crypto, you do this for commodities. Why not try it for our Nigerian markets? Because our stocks are they're on trading view. So why not try it? And she just said, okay, you know what, Kingsley, look at FCMB, Access Bank. What do you think? That was when it started. And I started from all the things that I've learned from my mentors, the books that I've read about technical analysis and the practice that I've done, burning hours on the screen. Again, it's very important for people to really understand what technical analysis is. Technical analysis is the study of price action, patterns, and market behavior using historical data, typically charts, typically candlesticks charts, to forecast future movements in financial markets. That's what basically technical analysis is. And I saw that was lacking in our market, and I've not seen anybody do something like that. And I was not serious about it then at like 2023. I was just only analyzing for some of these guys and so for some of these firms that come to me. Then that was where how I started analyzing. I remember when FCMB was trading around 3 naira even in 2023 and analyzed it, and I said FCMB was going to double its price, and I think as FCMB ran to 12 naira from 2023 to 2025 share. I didn't predict that it will run to 12 naira per share, but I predicted the places where investors could strategically bid and where they could have taken profit and all like that. So I tried it on a lot of charts. Basically, I focused on the Fugas because I found out that liquidity was majorly in the banking sector. So I did my analysis, mapped out my demand zones or support zones and my supply zones and resistance zones. So that was where it all started. And like I said, anybody that is saying technical analysis does not work in our market, that such person is wrong because every day people are trading, every day people are exchanging. What is even trading is the buying and selling of goods and services, right? So you buying and selling, a candlestick is showing that volume that is being actually traded in that day. Money is exchanging hands, but how is that money exchanging hands? That is where technical analysis comes in. Where am I supposed to buy? At what price am I supposed to exit the market? That is where technical analysis comes in. A lot of people can enter, maybe, oh, they bought good price. How do I exit? The problem with many investors today and many traders is they do not know when to exit the market. Then TA helps in that regard. So identifying patterns, identifying how prices move, that is technical analysis for you. And why do we even use technical analysis? Why do we even use it? It works well in short term trading, like I said. Also, it can work in long term trading. Like if you are a positional trader, that is where trading strategies comes in. Then also helps traders, time entries and exits. But the only thing that technical analysis cannot do is it can predict a news and it cannot predict macro shocks, or I call it black swan events. The black swan event is where an unexpected event happens in the markets, such as COVID, such as war, such as Ebola. So again, it could be maybe tsunami, God forbid. These are things that technical analysis cannot predict. But I always tell people when such things happen, you will start seeing it in the chart immediately, start playing out. Why? Because a lot of people are already panicking and all those things, but it couldn't predict it. So this is just only the thing that technical analysis cannot do. But if you combine with your fundamentals, then you're good to go. You're good to go. So yes.
Interesting. Interesting. It's interesting you've said this, combine it to your fundamental analysis, and you're good to go, right? I like all what you said so far, so good about how technical analysis can help you, like track volumes, basically plot when to enter and exit a stock, right? Now, I have to quickly
Yeah.
just point out my bias here so that our viewers can also note this, right? I'm partial to fundamental analysis. I always believe that if you look at a good company with good fundamentals, solid balance sheet, good cash flow, you value the company based on the future earnings, you buy the stock. You buy the stock, you don't care about um you don't care about volume, you don't care about you just care about price. I only care about price. I don't care about volume. I care about the entry price and the exit price. But now I'm curious, right? Because you've mentioned it just helps you track volume, it tracks helps you track when is the right time to enter, when is the right time to exit. How would you balance fundamental analysis with technical analysis? How would you balance both so that you can approach the market with, better, let's just say with more wisdom, with um more insight? How would you balance that?
Okay. Very fantastic question. I think you are also a technical analyst.
Before you go ahead, Aye is a fundamental analyst. So that's why he's telling you. He doesn't really, it's not into technical analysis, but he's a fundamental analyst. That's why he's defending FA.
Okay, I always tell people something. If you're an accounting person, you have done what we call financial statement analysis. Then, if you go into finance, you have done what we call valuation and financial modeling of a company, you know, and all those things. These are things that you want to use to, analyze that company, whether that company is buy or sell. We did all those things. But I found that for you to be able to stand out, let me open people's eyes into some essential things. You're going into a market where you are competing with fund managers, you're competing with institutional investors, you're competing with pension managers, you're competing with asset managers, you're competing with all these market participants. We call them the buy side, and also retailers too. You're competing with them. Now, you're competing with these guys as a retailer. And in the markets, there's nothing like government money. It is the money between all participants that is into the market. Now, how do I, as a retailer, benefit from this volume that is being passed around? I'm asking a question. How do I, technical analysis, spot those things using different confirmation tools? And for the volume question, you can't go into a market. Like I always tell people, volume is very important, especially if you're trading the stock market or the commodity market. You need to understand what volume is. And I learned that in cryptocurrency, because if there's no volume, that market is illiquid. And what is even volume? I like to give theoretical aspect to something before I start using practical aspect. Like, now, volume measures market activity and liquidity. It tells us how many people are buying or selling an asset, and also help us confirm trends or price movements. That is why volume is there. And if I'm seeing, I don't need to wait for maybe one software to tell me, oh, there is an heavy buying in that place. It's already showing in my charts that something is happening. Huge volume as occurred. It I just see it on my volume bars showing that, oh, okay, something is happening. What happened? Like that. There are other tools that you can check for volume. A lot. Volume is so wide that even in TA there are different types of volume. There's unbalanced volume, there's visible range volume profile, there is fixed range volume profile, there is a lot. There's VWAP, the volume weighted average price. You see all these things. And you hear high volume, you hear low volume, you hear volume spike, you hear volume dry up. All these things are very important in the market. Yesterday, I posted something about Boa Foods and Dang, Dangote Cement. Boa Foods, fantastic company, good financials. Fundamental of the company, very good and strong. But go and check the top holders. I pulled out data from S&P Capital IQ. Like I just saw that major holders that are holding the asset is almost 90%.
Exactly.
Can liquidity flow? I can't buy that kind of company because you will not. Maybe you even pray to God that you will see somebody that will buy it from your hand because the top holders are supposed to like release some of those shares into the market in terms of their float. But there's a rule again, and this is where I'm calling on the NGX. I hope they are going to listen to this podcast, and I'm calling on them. This premium board, you need to stop it. There should be a float that should be available for the public to trade, not somebody or not one person holding all the shares and it's not available to trade. Trust me, there are people, and somebody asked me a question yesterday. He asked me if Rabiu now say, okay, decide to listen to the market by selling down some of his shares. He said, won't it send a wrong signal to the market? I said, no. Alhaji Rabiu has built a fantastic company called Boa Food, and they have fine margins. Everything about the numbers are good. I can tell you for sure today that if Rabi wants to sell some, you will see even foreign investors that will want to pick up some of those shares immediately because that's a very good company. And nobody will see a good company and not want to buy that good company if he's ready to dispose. But he's not going to sell. That's just the truth. See the NGX sit down and tell us how they want to unlock these things. For me, I will never buy such company and put it in my portfolio because it is illiquid and it can't be traded. And illiquid market is not where you want to spend your time as a trader or as a technical analyst. And there are some stocks that I don't even share their chart because when you see it, it's just jumping all over the place. Just imagine put a cement when I was doing the analysis last week. Sorry, it was Boa Food. Last week they did only just 221,000 units of shares, and it's a big market that we want to compete. Imagine a premium company in a week is trading just 221,000 units of shares. It's appalling. So this is where volume comes in and very important for us to use it to analyze the market trend and all those things. And I wrote something, there are rules in volume. When there is an increase in volume, what happens? Next thing I'm expecting for my confirmation is an expansion in that volume. It means that it is going to support the uptrend. Increase in volume means it will lead to supporting the uptrend. And what happens in an uptrend? Price starts going up, right? Now, if there is a decrease in volume and price keeps going up, just like we saw in Beta Glass, another illiquid stock. Again, Beta Glass in Q1 was the best performing stock. That's an illiquid stock. I even went into the data and I built a 6 months data of how Beta Glass has traded in terms of their volume, and I showed people. And do you know that in 6 months, I could count the number of times Better Glass crossed 1 million in trading volume? 5 days out of 6 months. 2 days was above 1 million shares. That was in January. That was 7 million, 7 million traded in 2 different days. And the remaining 3 days, when I was scanning through the data from January to June, 1 million unit of shares was traded in 3 days. That's making it 5 days. Other days couldn't cross. It is on my Twitter handle. People can go there and check it. I did a detailed analysis and showed people this is why people cannot exit the market freely at Beta Class. Even the meme stock in the United States of America, they call it SBET, is very liquid. And I find it very insulting that a meme coin on crypto markets is very liquid than Dangote cement. There's even a market maker that is ready to pop up them Shiba Inu or Dogecoin. Ask people why can't they easily trade Dogecoin and they can't trade Dangote cement easily. It's so difficult to get in. It's so difficult to get out. It's so difficult to get into Beta Glass. And in my books, I will never even call an illiquid stock the best performing stock, even though the many media were carrying it as it is a shame, man. We need to, and this is why I'm using my platform plus you guys are using your platform to tell the NGX that you people can make this thing work. You can set the right thing. If you want to unlock liquidity, trust me, if Boa Food has good liquidity, trust me, if the premium board are very liquid, Nigerian capital market total market capitalization should be worth 100 trillion naira. Do you agree with me? If they were easily tradable, Nigerian market capitalization would have hit 100 trillion naira.
That's very true. That's very true. Yeah, because that would boost participation. So yeah, that's very, very
Exactly.
true.
And because these are the stocks people want to see, people want to buy, market would have increased and market would have rallied, would have even
And
hit a new.
another thing again too, the prices of these this particular premium board stocks, they would have appreciated a lot. You know,
Exactly.
that's
Exactly.
another thing.
Because again, this is where the pension the big guys will come into position themselves, but they will never buy something like that is kind of illiquid. It's so difficult for them to get out. It's so difficult.
I'm in that boat too. Let me just so say it out now. I have Girigu shares that I've been trying to dispose of for more than for more than a year now. I can't.
Somebody, let me even make you guys to laugh. Somebody on my platform was already dancing after I sold at 15% loss. I say, wow. And he was thanking God for him getting out of that ship. These are things that scares participants. That is why I don't really analyze them. I'll tell you in my on my chat. I will know if you are a newbie. This is for both existing and new newbies that you should never invest in a stock that is illiquid. That is your number one rule. What are the liquid stock? And I told my community guys, and on my platform, I will start sharing these things so that people will run away from them.
Yeah, if
Because
you remember some of the, sorry to cut you can just say
yeah,
it out there because this podcast is mainly for newbies so that they don't make the mistake. Some people will make the mistake. Most of them don't even understand what is a liquid stock and illiquid stock. You can explain that to them using this platform and also call out those stocks so that the public will be aware. Oh, this stock, if I get in, I might probably not be able to get out, or I might find it difficult to get in. And when I finally get in, to get out to be a problem. So, what is a liquid stock? What is an illiquid stock, and which stocks in the Nigerian stock market are illiquid, and which ones are liquid? If you can just do a quick explanation on that. Thank you.
okay. Now I'll give a clear fundamental concept of what a liquid stock and an illiquid stock is. Number one, a liquid stock is where you can easily enter or exit a position. There is ready-made buyer and seller. And number one sector that I always tell people that they should never joke with in the Nigerian market that is the most liquid is the banking stocks. That's number one. Now, what is an illiquid stock? An illiquid stock is very difficult to buy or sell without moving the stock price. In a liquid stock, you can exit and you might not even be able to impact the stock price and every other thing for a liquid stock. But for an illiquid stock, you might have to move the price for you to exit that position. Maybe bring the price down and all those things. That was what I was seeing during Better Glass. There was even a day that Better Glass did not even trade for that day. It was zero. Nobody. So liquid stock, very difficult to sell, very difficult to buy. So, in looking at the volume, a liquid stock ordinarily should be trading in millions. Normally, the standard should be hundreds of millions, or maybe let's say 50 million and above. But again,
Okay.
depends on the number of outstanding shares. And I will tell people how they can look at these things and how they can track these things and how they can calculate these things. Like I said, a liquid stock is just thousands, like few thousands or less. Like example, hundreds of thousands. Any stock that is trading 500K, it is illiquid.
You mean
Illiquid,
500 units?
500,000 units.
Wow.
Any stock that is trading 500,000, any stock that is trading less than 1 million shares
In a trading day or in a week?
in a trading day
Oh,
is
okay.
illiquid in a trading day. Then in a week, average volume for that week should be at least 3 million.
Okay.
At least, just at least. 3 million in a week. Again, that is still illiquid one way, because what if I'm a big investor and I want to buy 2 million worth of shares? Who is ready to sell to me at that 2 million worth of shares? But there are ways that we can solve this problem. And that is why I said NGS needs to come in.
I just want to ask you, you've already explained to us what liquidity is all about in terms of illiquid stock and liquid stock. Illiquid stock, according to you, if in a trading day, if the average volume is less than 500,000, is illiquid to you. And there are so many
1
stocks,
million, less than
1
1 million.
million, okay, 1 million in a day, yeah, that stock tends to be illiquid. And
Yes.
what it means is that as a new investor, a new investor that is listening to this podcast right now, if you get into such stock, it might take you days for you to get in, but
To get
it
into
might even
that.
take you months to get at. Just so you know, you don't get into any stock because you see it shining or somebody's talking about it on social media. Then you just decide to get in. That's why education is very important. You need to educate yourself. You need to learn. That's why we are here. That's why Crypto Senko is doing what he's doing to enlighten the public. So you get this information. Knowledge is power. You use that information to back your trading or your investment. So I want to ask Crypto Senko, list some of these companies that are illiquid so that listeners we take note and be guided. We are not trying to demarket any stock. We are not trying to demarket anybody because this is the truth. So can you list those stocks on the NGS that are illiquid?
Have you heard of a company called Austin Lars?
Yes. Yes.
So let me start with Austin Lars. Run away. Let me warn people again. We have two types of market. We have a bull market and a bear market. A bull market is where we see all the securities uptrending, while a bear market is where the asset class or the security price is downtrending. What happens in the bull market? In the bull market, almost all the stocks, because some people that don't have any idea, this stock is very cheap now. They'll say, might throw away money inside because the stock is cheap. You don't see that the stock is already
Yeah.
going up. Mind you, the companies also sell their stocks.
Yes.
So they sell it, but they won't cost cascade. And I'm telling you because I know for a fact, I've seen it. Some companies sell their stocks when it have appreciated in value. They can extract liquidity. There's no way you tell me Legend will not extract liquidity from the market after they did a listing by introduction.
Introduction.
And I was just looking at people. I said, why will you buy somebody that you don't even know their financial history, their financial record, their financial background, and you're going to go and buy?
Yeah.
And
We
I'm
have
not
someone here we interviewed, SC Fidelis. He said he doesn't get into any new listed stock because
exactly.
he has not seen their financials. He wait until he see at least three financials back to back
Let me
before he can make his decision.
Sorry for interrupting you, Mudi. I think that's even a very important thing that we need to even state here on this podcast for
yeah,
a lot of
Yes.
newbies. The whole point is to be informed before you even start buying something, right? And yeah, likely some stocks always just go up newly they get listed on the market. I think Legend is a very good example, right? But some stocks, some companies actually go the extra way to at least put out enough information to understand what's going on financially before you even buy it, right? I don't know about Legend. I don't think I've checked them out, right? But it makes sense that you do that research because what are you buying, right? What are you buying if you don't know the company's you don't know what the balance sheet looks like, you don't know what the assets are, you don't know what the company owes, you don't know what the company owns, you've not seen any cash flow, right? So it makes sense to just first of all get that information first before you buy, because if you buy, the stock can go up, but like Crypto Senko is saying, it can go up, but then you are trapped because you can't exit because there's no liquidity, you can't exit. So yeah, it's very, very important that newbie investors understand this. Just because the stock just listed on the market doesn't mean that it's a good company. You still need to do the homework and understand the financials.
Yes, very important. And that's what he's saying. Just liken it to you are sick. You went to the chemist and you say, give me medicine, I'm sick. It doesn't work that way because first of all, if you're having headache, you know what you're going to buy. When you go to the chemist man, you know what you're going to ask him to give you for the headache. You're not going to go there and ask him to give you antibiotics for headache. You're going to ask him to give you something that will take care of the headache, maybe Panadol, paracetamol. So why would you take your money to the market, the stock market, and you just buy any stock you see without asking question? What does this company do? Who are they? How do they make their money? You don't want to know. You just want, can you tell me the stock to buy? No, I can't tell you. Because if I tell you today and anything goes wrong, you're going to blame me. So when you come to me, I will explain to you. For you to buy a stock, this is what you need to do. Do this. Once you understand the company, then you can go ahead and buy. And like what Crypto Senko is trying to say here now, is that when you understand liquidity of a stock, of a company, you should be able to know when to go in and when to come out. But if you don't know that, you go in blindly, how do you get out? You get stuck. And once you're stuck, how do you get out? It becomes a problem. So beginners should really understand these concepts. They are very vital to your success and failure in the market. It's very important. You can continue, sir.
Do you know how many months before they could get out of Total Energies? 2 months. Very liquid. Let me mention them. There is one stock called Thomas Watts. Trade volume was zero for 12 weeks. I counted it 12.
Wow.
And it was showing on my chart. No volume. And all of a sudden, volume started increasing in 4 weeks because we're in a bull market. Bua Cement is an illiquid stock.
Okay.
It is an illiquid stock and it's trading at the premium bond. Apart from Aradel, Aradel is liquid, but most of the premium bond stocks are illiquid. Illiquid. Dangote Cement. I shared the volume that it's traded. Again, people can also check these things. Number one thing for newbies, make your NGS group website
Your
your
friend.
friend.
I always say
Sleep
that too.
with it. Sleep with it. Even though you don't have access to these tools that I have access to. I have access to Bloomberg Terminal. I have access to XRP Capital IQ. Again, it gives you an idea of what this thing is. Go and check what they've traded. You see it. NGS have even made it so easy. Just search for the company name. When you get to NGS website, go to trade. There will be a drop down. From that drop down, go to under equities. After under equities, go to listed companies. When you type Dangote Cement, I'm just showing you ways that you can just check these things. You click on Dangote Cement, you will see the volume. Volume for this stock is 316. That's the daily volume, 316,629. That was what was traded for that week, not for the day. You will not see last 7 days. But NGS will not give you, I have access to months. Last 7 days of Dangote Cement. This is a stock that is on the premium board. You see it. June 26, 413,000. June 27, 562,000 units. June 30, 244,000 units. In the whole trading session, this was what was traded.
Okay.
How can you tell me that this stock is liquid and I should put my money there? I can't get out. So let me just list the other stocks that are illiquid. I've called Thomas Watts and Austin
Last.
Last. Then there's this Julie. Then there's Unidicon. I don't know why Unidicon
Union
is
Deacon, yeah, sort.
is listed in the market. And some companies used to do what we call bidding with themselves, or maybe calling house to help them to be trading their shares so that it will be active. It needs to be stopped, and NGS will need to start looking into it. If people don't like your company, then maybe you should look for a way to delist. Then, apart from Austin Lars, there's Julie NIDF, Transcorp Power,
Yeah,
Transcorp Hotel. All of them are illiquid. The only Transcorp that is liquid is the Transcorp Group. That is what I always post on my chat. I don't post Group, Transport Power, Transport Hotel. Why, when I was posting Ikeja Hotel, why didn't you just go and buy Ikeja Hotel at 10 naira? That was the first second call at 10 naira per share. Now, where is the Ikeja Hotel? Almost 17 naira. It's going to get to 20 naira, but it's not a financial advice. Then
Yes.
I saw Morrissey. Then there is Living Trust. Run away from that company called Living Trust. I don't know if they are living dead or living trust. Run away from them.
Yeah, formerly known as Lower B.
I was talking to my colleague, that's Onome Kwasimodo.
Okay.
He told me that they were having a case with some of their investments was called Ponzi scheme. He shared the link where I read those things and I opened my mouth. I even went to check their financials. I was saying blood of God, not blood of Jesus, blood of God. I was screaming when I started seeing their numbers. And this company is trading and people don't even know why they're buying them. Then TAP scam is very easy, but it moves. Again, it trades some days, it trades millions, once in a while. But people buy CAP. Again, let me tell people something. Some people buy some illiquid stock, but I'm not of that opinion and I don't share that sentiment with them. Again, there's no right or wrong. Some people buy some of these good companies that have good financials, good everything, but they buy them because of their dividend. But and I ask you, what if one day you need money and at that moment it was CAP that you wanted to sell, then you put it up for sale? What happened? You couldn't get your order filled in the whole trading day session, and you needed that money, and then it affects your personal life. You don't want to invest where it is difficult for you to pull out your funds. Liquidity, like I said, is the heaven and earth of trading. If there's no liquidity in that particular market, that market is illiquid and doesn't make sense. It is not always appealing to investors that want to invest. This scares investors away because the first question they're asking themselves is, how am I going to pull my money out if there is no ready-made seller in the market? So these are the major companies. But if you look at the charts, it's just showing that maybe they are shouting hallelujah in terms of the candlesticks. Candlesticks are dancing, and you don't even know what is actually happening in that particular company. I'm not going to analyze such company or put those company in my analysis because they are illiquid, very illiquid.
All right. Thank you so much for that.
All right, so I think you've shared quite a lot and a lot of useful insights and beneficial things that a lot of newbies can take in, especially with understanding what liquidity really is, right? And you've mentioned a couple of stocks that newbie investors can you just go further and research, right? And basically stay clear of stocks that are liquid.
Sorry,
What
let
are
me
what
even
do you see as
add
some of
this.
the
Seplat. Add Seplat to the list. Seplat is very liquid in the London Stock Exchange, but it's illiquid in Nigeria. Very illiquid stock. And I don't see why you should go waste your time buying a Seplat if you are a newbie in the market to buy
so I have
Seplat.
experience. I have experience with stocks like Seplat, right? Very very big experience. I mean, this is a stock that I think is the most pricey in terms of per share. The most
Yeah,
pricey
it's the
stock right
most
now in the
pricey.
Nigerian stock market.
Yeah, yeah.
I think to encourage liquidity, they have to split that stock. But I read somewhere around them not wanting to split the stock, considering um, the
They don't
exchange
want to
rate and
dilute
what it's
because
going to
of
look like on the.
yeah, exactly. They don't want to. Shareholders will be so mad at them if they do that, and they have to pass it. They have to take it to the board. So shareholders need to vote
Approve.
to approve that. So I don't think anybody will want to do that because that stock is where people are protecting their life investments. But again, NGX first of all should move this premium board. There should be a cap people must consider is what is the total number of outstanding shares. Yes, I used to see something that Fidelity always drop into, like in terms of tracking banking shares and where some banks are done with their recapitalization or the ones that have done their rights issue and they are done with that exercise. It tells you where the previous outstanding share is and what's the current number of outstanding shares. Now, what I will tell newbies to start doing is look at the outstanding shares. If you want to know the liquidity of that stock, look at the number of outstanding shares. What is their float? In the tools that I use the float. What is supposed to be available for public trading? Then I
So
apply it.
So why is NGS not enforcing that? Because when I was researching on companies' requirement for being listed on the NGS, there's a float requirement that you have to meet.
20%. Not
So
just
why are they not
20%.
enforcing it for all the companies?
Now, again, auditors, many people, some people say, oh, they do analysis and every other thing. Auditors even report it that, oh, you are not compliant
With the float
with,
requirement?
with the float requirements. Again, newbies, when you are analyzing or doing your fundamental analysis, one thing you should always put at the back of your mind is the shareholding structure. It's always reported in the financials, the annual statement or the audited statement. Always check the shareholding structure. You will see it in the shareholding structure. The auditors will always say they are compliant. They are not compliant.
Okay, quickly, can you just explain what is shareholding structure? Most newbies they don't even understand that. Can you just explain that, please? Thank you.
Okay, so the shareholding structure of a company refers to the breakdown of ownership
Okay.
among groups of shareholders. It will tell us how much this person own in this company. What's the percentage? Is it 50%, or is it controlling interest on how many shares this person have? You will see the breakdown, and it shows who owns how much of the company, whether individual, institutions, insiders, or public. So there
Okay.
will always be a breakdown as to all those things in the shareholding structure. You will see how many top holders. So this is how it will be reported in the shareholding structure.
Can
Just
you,
skim
for
through the.
emphasis sake, can you pull up any company at all and just
Let me pull up Dangote. Some companies call it shareholding structure. Okay, correct, correct. Now you can see it. Aliko Dangote, you can see as at 21st, look at what he has in 2025. That's personally to him. Then indirectly, Aliko Dangote industry is 14 billion. So everybody can see the shell, the structure, and every other thing. They will only mention the top holders. And there's this Indian guy, he has over that was 428 million 560,000 units. You see the top holders, you see it listed here, then others. So always check that, and you see this thing. Then you now read under it. What did they say about if it's compliant?
yeah.
NGX2 is kind of confusing. It should be general.
Yeah, so they giving preferential treatment to some of these stock.
Because the premium board will always meet that trillion in terms of their market cap. I think there's a way they say you must have this amount. It's on the NGX. Newbies can also go there to read these rules on the float. They call it float. But Dangote is compliant. But in reality, you cannot trade Dangote because that loophole, there's a loophole in that law where you tell companies that, okay, if you are not in the premium bond, that this is the requirement for you to meet. Again, then you see a company that you are not even supposed to buy. Let's not even go to the premium. They are not supposed to buy because they are not compliant. Then you went to buy them. Illiquidity. So that fault is from you because you've not actually done your research. That is for the newbies. So because they've not actually done their research.
Okay. Like I hear we say, not until most of them they pay school fees. They will not learn. When you pay school fees, that is when you get into an illiquid stock and you can't get that. You've already paid school fees. Your money is stuck.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's it. So yeah, you can understand shareholder structure from what Crypto Senko just explained. That is always in the annual financial statement. What is annual financial statement? It is the book, the document that tells you how the company that you are invested in, how they performed in the preceding year. So like the current annual financial statement we have in the stock market in Nigeria right now is one for 2024. And most of these companies, their year starts on January 1st and end December 31st. Most of them, not all. There are some that are quite different from that, but majority January 1st to 31st. So if you open the NGS's website, you go to where these stocks are listed, click on any of the company, it will show you where their financial statements are. and it is boldly written there, AFS 2024. That's Annual Financial Statement 2024. If you open that document, you're going to see a lot of information. It might take you days to read it, but read it, understand it. When you open it, you're going to see what they call shareholder structure. If it is not stated as shareholder structure, they can also state it as director's interest. So they tell you who owns what in the company. In the case of Dangote Cement, Aliko Dangote, as an individual, as a person, has 27 million units of Dangote Cement. Then indirectly, through his companies, Aliko Dangote Industry Limited, he owns 14 billion units of shares in this company, in Dangote Cement. That tells you he has a very high interest in the company. So he's a majority shareholder. If you look at Zenith Bank, you will see that Jimovia has a lot of shares there, is the majority shareholder in billions. You look at UBA, you will see that Tony Elumelu has the same, is the highest shareholder there. You look at First Bank, you will see Femi Otedola. Geregu, you see Femi Otedola is the majority shareholder. So this is how the companies are structured, the shareholders are structured. You have to understand it so that you know where you stand. You know who controls what company from the other. Very important as a newbie. Take note of that. Thank you, Crypto Senko.
All right, all right. I think we've shared quite a lot of information with our newbies, and going back on track, can you walk us through some of your investment and trading strategies that you've used over the years to basically select stocks and how you choose to enter the stocks and how you then choose to exit?
Okay. So again, like I always tell people, trading strategies is peculiar to the investor. And we have different types of trading strategies. I'll just mention them. We have scalping. Who is a scalper? A scalper is someone that enters the market and gets out of the market within seconds or minutes. You These traders use what we call the lower time frames. In this kind of market, the scalper needs a very liquid asset to trade at that moment. So again, a scalper cannot work in the Nigerian market. We have what we call day traders. Most of our stockbrokers that run proprietary trades are day traders. Buy and sell shares and exit some of that position within the same day. And we now have what we call swing traders. Now, swing traders are traders that buy an asset or a stock or a security, but it takes weeks before they can exit their position. Why? Because they heavily rely on both fundamentals and technicals in order for them to take a massive position. I'm a swing trader um, in the Nigerian market. What works in the Nigerian markets majorly is day trading, swing trading, and what we call position traders. And many people are positional traders. Now, what positional traders? They are traders that buy uh, particular stocks and add to their position in weeks or in months, depending on what they are seeing in the market, and wait. Either they wait for months or years before they start exiting their positions. I can play with the three strategies that I said works in the Nigerian market, either day trading or positional trader or a swing trader. But it's only a few times that I they trade, maybe I exit and I'm just looking, that's 10%. I'm okay with that 10%. Now, what's that 10%? What has it done for me? Okay, I'm going to pay some fees and all those things. You have to put this at the back of your mind because somebody will say, but it's only 10% that you can make in a day now. And there is only 10% that you can lose in a day and all those things like that. Now it depends, because if you're a big account holder and maybe you're trading, again, this is not a financial advice. You're taking a position of a 10 million and every other thing. I always tell people you factor in the cost and all those things. So majorly anything that is going beyond days, those majorly work in our markets is that are swing traders and positional traders, because at the end of the day you are going to pay SEC, you pay all your fees and every other thing. And again, like I said, some of the strong guys that do proprietary trading, they do day trading. But for me, I practice the two, either swing trading for some kind of stocks and based on what I'm seeing, a positional trader. Now, like what kind of strategy do I do? I'm a price action trader in the Nigerian market, and a price action trader heavily rely on volume analysis, demand and support zones, supply and resistance zones. Yeah, that's it.
All right, interesting, right? And do you recommend people specialize in one market or diversify across several markets like you do?
Our advice to always diversify in every sphere of the market. The world is changing, and I want it to not make sense that you're over concentrated in one region. Now, anything that one should learn from what is going on in the world is geopolitical crisis that is happening all around us. One lesson that every investor or every trader should learn from this is that you should not put all your eggs in one basket. Because what if one thing happen? Maybe these two countries are fighting, and all of a sudden, because that country has more power, they can turn off their trading server, or say we are no longer accepting money from these people, or say we are going to seize their assets. We saw that with Russia and Ukraine. The eurozone seized most of the Russian assets and all those things. You look at it too again, the Iran Israel war, we saw that their exchange, Iran crypto exchange, one of the crypto exchanges in Iran was hacked. Diversify your portfolio so that you won't be in trouble or crying for help. It's very important to diversify your portfolio across all key critical political zones. If I mean critical, I'm not saying it in a bad way. Like in key regions, let me use the word key, in key geopolitical zones, so that you'll be well covered.
Interesting, interesting. But then, of all these markets that you are exposed to, which one excites you the most? And why? Why does that particular market excite you the most?
Anyway, it's like I will not lie. I'll say the crypto market excites me the most, but I'm beginning to love the Nigerian market. Again, people ask me, why don't you post a lot of crypto charts? I said many Nigerians are seeing crypto, which I'm trying to. We are going to change their mindset. They start they start preaching those kind of shenanigans to their followers in terms of how to scam them or how to rip them. You know, they do that, and I'm going to expose them one day when I have their time. I'm going to do that. But the Nigerian market excites me, but the crypto market excites me the most. But again, I can't choose. Even the US market, anywhere there is liquidity, excites me the most. Let me just use it that way.
Interesting, interesting.
Yeah, so you said the Nigerian market excites you the most because crypto. Many Nigerians, they're used to crypto, they understand crypto very well. But
No,
does
no,
that
no,
mean that
they are not. No, no, no. I didn't say many Nigerians understand crypto. I said the crypto market excites me because I started with the crypto market, like investing, like
Mhm.
throwing real money into it. But a lot of Nigerians have confused crypto for Ponzi schemes in terms of promoting meme coins or shitty things that doesn't make sense. Like that is not even what Satoshi Nakamoto stood for in terms of creating these
Bitcoin?
beautiful assets called Bitcoin in the world. I said when I have that time, I'm doing. For now, I love all markets. Be it commodities, I'm there. I'm talking about gold. I'm talking about silver. I'm talking about oil, sharing analysis. I even did critical analysis. I'm there. Types of stocks, Nigeria and US. There in terms of bond market, I talk about the bond markets too. Euro bonds, especially looking at the key critical euro bond. I'm there too, talking about that. I love the markets as a whole, and like I said, anywhere there is liquidity.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. Thank you for the clarification. So now, are there any Nigerian stocks or sectors that stand out to you currently, technically speaking? technically speaking, not fundamentals?
Well, again, a very, very good question that you asked. My friend, we met on X and we became good friends. It's very good. His name is Cedar. And he asked me a very good question on the platform on the Senko community. He said, Kingsley, right now, what sector do you think will attract capital? And I told him that was FMCG sector will attract capital. So, and why did I say the FMCG? I was looking at the Nigerian in depth. I said, this is where capital will flow. Why? Because nobody likes their shareholdings to be diluted. It's inflationary. If I'm going to be increasing my outstanding shares, then it's always going to affect the price one way or the other. Because
Even the dividend as well.
exactly, even you are bringing in new shares and all those things. And I said investors will not like that. So they will go to where there's no too much dilution of shareholding. So I go there and invest. And what is the major place that kind of look attractive? It was not the oil sector because there was tariff and oil prices was coming down. And I said, these guys will do well. And I was one of the first person that called Cadbury. And I told them, go and buy Cadbury at 21 naira to 22 naira per share. And where is Cadbury today? And they were doing bad fundamentally, but I was looking at it technically from the technical aspect, and I wrote a lengthy thread on Cadbury before Cadbury now became profitable. I did same for PZ. PZ did some good numbers. Apart from PZ, also there were a lot of them.
UAC.
UAC. I remember that was even 2023. NASCON, Nigerian Brewery, there were a lot. I can't count now. That NASCON, I remember NASCON giving 4 calls on NASCON, giving calls on Dangote Sugar. Apart from that, Vital Foam, trying to remember the other stocks. A lot. We started analyzing most of these FMCG companies that was liquid. And I started giving like not a financial advice call, but showing where people could position and benefit from. Apart from that, I was also looking at the pharmaceutical industry. That's the health sector.
What?
So for the health sector, we spoke about Niemet, we spoke about Fitzin. I never even knew that. And a lot of them made money for my community members because of them execute at right prices. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy for all of them. And again, a lot of people are buying at the top, where some of my members are exiting with good prices. I look out for and I watch in the market. So now the next sector, let me drop the pointer here so that you people can listen. The next sector we've already even taken our position after the FMCG. It was the insurance because of very soon they will soon sign their bill, and that bill is going to unlock a lot of things. That insurance sectors should be the next.
So I want to ask you a quick question. You run a thriving WhatsApp, Telegram, and Twitter communities. What inspired you to start sharing your knowledge in this community?
Well, like I looked at our environment. Nigeria is a place where people need help. And again, I even worked in one of the brokers and I said, see, you people want young people to invest. I have them and they are willing to invest. Remove this minimum term because this minimum barrier,
Yeah.
remove it. And they said, okay, they will talk to the management. Tell them it's from the Senko community. And she said, okay, she will talk to the management and all my members, because I will put this here. I will not tell them to invest in or buy shares on a fintech platform because there are many things that they will not be privileged to. Number one, their data feeds in terms of price is bad, wrong, it is
Yes.
misleading. And so I tell them, open a traditional broker. You're not opening it because of me. They said, oh, give me my referral code. I said, no, because I told them, I said, the only rule that I gave on the community was don't send me DM or anything that you send me DM, you will pay $50 per if you come. Because if you cannot sit down
to read all these things that you are seeing and you are still coming to my DM to look for alpha, then again, I don't think you are ready to do this work, this trading journey. So I looked at the environment and I said, people don't have money, disposable income, talk less of paying somebody to teach them on how to trade or invest. And that was what made me so passionate to share my knowledge for free. I've always been a guy right from my school days. I teach my classmates, and I'm not somebody that hoards knowledge. I teach them, and that's what has been helping me. That's my motivation. If everybody is happy and doing well, definitely we can sign good deals in future as good friends, or we can work on something elaborate or good product and good project. At least you say, oh yes, this guy. So that's the mindset, and I don't know, but that's the mindset, and I'm happy that I've helped a lot of people to become to become financially free. For my platform, a lot of people are giving me good testimonies, and I want to see that to translate. I know that a lot of people will be angry because I'm doing this for free and not collecting money from somebody, and they might be thinking I'm spoiling them. But no, I don't think if you want people to join the Nigerian market, the way is not to start billing them and they have not seen results. The way is for them to come into the market, let them see how it is going. Even if they are going to collect Koboko, it will be on their own terms that they collected the Koboko because they did not do some things. So this is what I look at in the Nigerian market. And I hope that a lot of people will come to our market and will have more participation in the market. So that is it.
So how do you manage balancing basically your own routine, right? Figuring out your own investment at the same time teaching and mentoring others. How do you balance it?
A very good question that you asked. There was a particular topic every Sunday because today I spent 3 hours with my community members talking about. We always do our market review. This is so. I think last 2 weeks I spoke about trading or investing with a 9 to 5. What should you do and all those things. And I mentioned key things. So the first thing is I already know what I want to buy for the week. I've been tracking. I prepare my setups weekend plus what my community members request for, and I do. And before the market opens, I've already played pushing my bids or into the market. And again, you have to check to ensure that that bid goes through because you have to fight. Our market is dog eat dog. I spoke about the art, the art of buying and selling in the Nigerian market. There are a lot of things that many investors need to, or traders like me need to see. So I've done my setups and every other thing. The ones that I know I want to sell that as it might take profit, I put the offer into the market, and that's just it. It's just about what you want to do, and so that's the principle that I apply when doing my. And I'm proud to say that I've been able to cover to 90% of the listed companies, and people can check it. They can fact check me by going to my timeline to check all the stocks, and I'll be able to cover those stocks based on this weekly market review. And I always even reference them when if there's a need for me to reference it. So again, that's how I run my this thing. I even ask myself, where do I get this energy from? So sometimes because I don't even know how I do it like that. So these are the things, few tips that this thing I do before markets opens or close. And I don't check my portfolio because again, let me put this. When you know what you've bought, you'll be at rest. If I'm going to lose money because the market went against me, I learned from it. I spoke about today. I did a part 2 of trading and investing psychology in the market. Our case study was the Nigerian market because we're already in a bull market. And this is what happens when people are sharing screenshots of their profits or their dividend and all those things. I spoke about that. Again, there's a lot of technical analysis, more or less like a psychology thing, which I've learned from my mentors, and a lot that I've learned from a lot of marketers. So these are the things that have taught me. Yes, That's it.
All right. Thank you so much for that. A question. We want to ask you a question about reforms. What reforms would you like to see in the Nigeria's capital markets?
So number one, you all know the reform that I want to talk about. Number one is liquidity. Liquidity attracts foreign investors. Now, I want to see millions of Nigerians. If in US, the young, at least 18-year-old is already invested in the market, growing his knowledge in the market, we can have that too in Nigeria. They need to work together with SEC in terms of this insider dealing. I was having a conversation with Global. I don't know if he's a lawyer, but he said the new ISA 2024, the insider dealing to look so unfair. How do I mean by unfair? 14 days before you can report. So that person has seen the drop in the market and will not even get to know before 14. They need to work in hand with the SEC to do that. Because in the US, if somebody is selling, immediately you are alerted. If an insider or if the CEO of the company or the MD is going to sell, you see that he has filed with the SEC. We need to have that. It's an equal playing field. So let investors, let traders see that something is happening. Not that that every day I have to go to the NGS, this thing. Yes, that's where you get the information. Go under the corporate disclosure. I want to see where X should be the place where you start seeing all these things. Insider buying. We have handles or account that is doing it. Kudos. But investors should always check what date did that person buy. Check the price. Don't just rush and say, oh, he's buying. It is good for the stock. Look at these little details. I always pay attention to those details. And these are the things that always piss me off because when I see MD buying at a cheaper price, example is the Fidelity MD. Go and check when she bought. Yes, it shows confidence in the company and they should work in hand with the SEC. NGS should work with the SEC to modify that law so that there should be transparency in the market. Apart from that, liquidity. How do you attract liquidity? You need to revamp that premium bond and make it fixed for public trading in terms of the float size. I want the NGX to work in that regard to enforce, to attract that liquidity. It's not somebody holding all the stocks. We will not see it in the US. So again,
Okay.
these are the things that NGX, if they can first of all solve that liquidity issue, then the other things, look at the registrars. How are they going to make the registrars more responsible? Because most of them are irresponsible. And next thing is enforcing strict compliance on shares that have not been traded. Like, how can you be on a listed market and you are not traded for weeks? M Benefit is another example. 12 weeks that stock did not trade anything. It was zero for
And all of a sudden,
all of a sudden. Why should my money go into that company except you have an insider information about the company? And I don't trade on insider information because that is cheating and it is illegal to trade based on insider trading. Yes. So I will say don't invest in a company where you're not supposed to invest in.
okay, don't invest in a company where you're not supposed to invest in. Aye, the last question. Can you ask him the last question so that we can call it a day?
Yeah, so I think you've shared quite a lot. I think you've given a lot of beautiful insights that our listeners, especially young investors, can pick from. I think I mean we've been going on for quite some time right now, and like you said, you'll be very very much interested in talking on and on and on. Right, but unfortunately, we'll just have to call it a day for today, right? So, for someone who's just starting out investing and the person is feeling overwhelmed with all the jargons and the volatility, right? What's your piece of advice for such a newbie investor who is looking at all this information and trying to figure out where do I start? How do I package all of this and start picking quality stocks? What would be your advice to such an investor?
Okay. Well, is my advice to people. I will always tell you start from understanding the market, knowing what you are getting yourself into. And the first thing is you have to understand what the Nigerian market is. And it is not hard. You don't have to go and study finance before you can understand how to read a financial statement and all this. There are people online, especially for Quasimodo or Onome. Sit down and watch, learn before you throw your money into any company, and do your own research, not just listening to all these people. Do your own research. These companies dish information on their website. Learn about the business model of a company. How do they make money? If you know you want to go in as a long-term investor, how do they make money? Are they going to expand? Where is their products getting to? These are the questions that you're asking as a long-term investor, like as a value investor. Okay, what do I see? How much are they producing in a day? How many people? Why did the volume drop? You will always hear people talk about revenue. And I always tell people, revenue is what? Price times quantity. Now, why should revenue go up? As an investor, these are questions you ask yourself. Why is revenue down? There are only two things that make revenue go up or down. And two things that you always look at is either the price or the quantity. Is either the quantity increases or price increases and the quantity drops. Then, yes, ask yourself, what happened? Why did the quantity increase and why did the price drop? Maybe, okay, inflation happened. That is why the producers had to increase the price. These are ways to understand the company and understand this. And you are driving it. You are doing all these things. You are doing all this analysis. And you're asking yourself, okay, where do I see this company in the next 3 years? Okay, what my investment plan? What's my investment thesis? The first thing that you're always going to do is to write, to draw out the plan and understand the sector that you know you are good in, that you are conversant with, that you it's not just liking, that you understand before you throw in capital into it.
All right. Thank you so much, Crypto Senko. Thank you for sharing your insight, your time, and your incredible energy with us today. From demystifying technical analysis to championing better governance in our markets, your work is truly inspiring. To our listeners, if you've enjoyed this conversation, make sure to follow Crypto Senko on Twitter at Kingsley. Kingsley is spelled as Keanxley, and join one of his educational sessions to deepen your market knowledge. He's on Telegram every Sunday. He has a lot of information, a lot of videos on so many technical and general information about stock market, crypto market. He has a WhatsApp group as well. He has a community there, a very large community, over 1,000 persons, right? And and he's on Twitter. He's everywhere all the time. That's why sometimes I wonder, how does he do it? So follow him. You will learn a lot, and your future self will thank you for following him and for taking his educational sessions seriously, because they are going to deepen your market knowledge. As always, stay consistent, stay curious, and stay invested. See you in the next episode. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to another episode of the favorite podcast that brings insight to the Nigerian stock market. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. To get more episodes like this, follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, as well as on our website. All this information is available in the show note below this episode. Until we bring you another episode your way next week. Bye for now. Mudi and Aye podcast is executive produced by Mudi. This episode was edited by Rona at Rock Quarry Village Studio.